Morning. I've come to Roydon Common this morning, not to the more popular eastern end where you have the main heathland, but to a lesser well-known spot that I've always known as the extension. I don't know if it's got an official name, but that's how I've always known it, which consists of mainly woodland. But it used to be fairly good for fungi, so that's why I'm here today, to see if I can find some fungi. But also, there's a bit of a nostalgia trip, as I did have the privilege in the 90s of working 4 seasons on Roydon. 2 as a volunteer and 2 pay contracts. Last time I visited here 5 years ago, it's completely changed, so I'm going to have to see if I can find my way back to where I need to go. Right, I think I found the first spot. Yes, I have. First spot where I need to be. Now this area, just behind me, when I worked here, that was all fenced off with a gate, and when we brought the van through, I had to go out and open the gate and come through, but that's been done away with now. And I know a little bit further along where there used to be a wooden bridge, that's not there anymore, but there is a dam that you can cross, and that gets you to probably the best bit of this area. Now, to the side of me, to my left, is, or was, a dike line. It's empty at the moment, and I don't know if it ever does run anymore, but there always used to be orange water running through here, where there's a lot of iron content around, and you get all the what's basically rust, the iron oxide in the water. But one of our regular jobs along this section was clearing back the birch and clearing back the gorse, to keep the footpath open. Which I used to get a strange sense of satisfaction on clearing gorse, because when you get home at the end of the day, you suddenly find you've got a gorse thorn in your leg, and what you initially think is a small splinter, when you pull it out, it's a good inch or more long, and there's always a great sense of satisfaction when that happened. I know it's weird. Right, I can see my first fungi, but it's on the other side of the dike at the moment. I can't get to it, so hopefully there will be something to see. We've had plenty of rain the last few days. In fact, we've had plenty of rain all year. It's been an abysmal year this year for weather. It's probably must be one of the wettest on record. Certainly in Norfolk. For about, just over a year now, it's been almost constant wind and rain. We've had some hot spells, but they never lasted long before we went back to wind and rain. So it should be good conditions for fungi. Right, I'm just approaching an area now where I think the bridge used to be. Difficult to tell because it's changed so much since the 90s. There's a post there. It might be a bit further up. Right, this is definitely where the bridge used to be, just here. But just a flattened crossing point now. That's that used to be quite deep. I can't believe that. But this is what we've got now. Makes life a lot easier. But I think they must have rerouted the dike or something. Ooh. Oh, it's very slippy. Way underfoot. So hopefully there's a little area of fenland not too far from this spot. So hopefully I can find my way there. Just spotted the first fungus. It's over here on this dead birch. That's the appropriate named hoof fungus. Now, just turn you around. Up until quite recently, it was thought that this didn't occur in this part of Norfolk. But I did some research a little while ago, and I found that actually it's quite prevalent. But you can see why it's called a hoof fungus, as it just looks like some animal hoof growing out the side of a tree. But it's also something people use for tinder. It has the property that it'll just keep mouldering it for a long time, and it catches easily. So people, survivalists, will break it off, dry it out, then keep it to start fires or keep a fire going. Right, somewhere again this has all changed. Somewhere around here we always put logs down to walk over. It's so wet underfoot, but that seems to be not happening now. So it looks like I am coming up to the fen area. Somewhere around here, it always used to be good for honeysuckle, but I think they've had a clear out. Taken a lot of the understory out. There used to be masses of it. Oh, okay. this has come out somewhere completely where I wasn't expecting it to come out. So, where do I find the fen area from here? That must be over there. It doesn't make sense, because there should be two sides here. There should be a pool, a little pool, which is always good for diving beetles. But this bit comes to a pylon line. It's always kept clear for obvious reasons. You get a dead straight line cleared for keep the vegetation away from the electric pylons. It goes both ways, so it goes that way, and if I just move over this way a little bit, down behind me that way, well, there is a little bit of overgrowth that way, but how does that relate to where the fen is? Let's go back. So I don't think this section is where the fen is. But as I say, it's changed so much, it's really difficult to work out. But there should be, last time I came here, in the 90s, the warden built a bit of boardwalk leading out into the fen, so you could go and have a look. When I came 5 years ago, it was in a bit of dilapidated state, but it was still there. So it'd be interesting to see if that's still the case. Oh, there's a bracket fungus there. Let's go and have a look at that. Like this, I think, is birch polypole, which is quite a common species that likes to grow on birch. And it's quite white underneath. It doesn't have gills. It has pores, hence the name. So that's quite nice to see. I need to work out where the fen's got to. That's the dike line, so I think it's a little bit further on. Could be it over there. Let's go and have a look over there. Okay, I found a bit of a trail. Well, I stumbled across it. It's giving me the right vibes, but what I'm looking at doesn't look right for where the fen, or how the fen used to be. It looks too wide open. So unless they've done some extensive work, there used to be a line of alders, which is always good in the winter for siskin and redpoll. And it looks like that might have gone. But it's really strange that it's changed that much in just 5 years. See, now I'm looking straight out onto the main heath from here. That never used to be possible. So I think that bit of fen was possibly gone. But yeah, this is looking out onto the main heathland from here. I'll turn you around and show you. So yeah, where that fen has gone, I'm a complete loss at the moment. I'm determined to find that fen, and I have lots of happy memories associated with it. So even if I don't go looking for fungi, I'm looking for the fen. And this area I'm looking at in front of me here, it looks right, but there's no sign of what used to be here at all. So do I go back the way I came, or do I push on and see if I can find something a little bit further? I think I'll push on, and if not, when I come back I'll try and find it on the way back. So in this part we have a lot of gorse growing along here. And we came down here one day to do some gorse clearance, but it was absolutely chucking it down with rain. We were soaked, and gorse is really easy to burn. What we were doing, we were cutting it and then burning it, and it's so easy to burn. But it was raining that much, we just couldn't get it to catch. And being like drowned rats, we decided to call it a day and retired to a local pub for a quick pint before actually going home. And there's me, John and Het got to the pub, and they had bar snacks on the side, and they were onion barges. So of course we just tucked into them like there was no tomorrow. But unfortunately they did have a side effect that made us a little bit unpopular, so we didn't stay there long. We went home to dry out. A little way up from here there used to be some glades, and they were I absolutely loved it in there. And we never went there very often, but when I did, I absolutely loved it. And I even used to come my days off just for wandering around. They're absolutely fantastic areas. And there must have been a good rabbit population because the vegetation was, it was almost like a lawn, like a tennis court or something. But I came here about 10 years after I finished working here. Came up this way, and obviously the rabbits have gone because it's so overgrown now. It's such a shame. So I've imagined it to be the ideal place to come have a picnic on a hot summer's day, knowing you weren't going to see another soul. And whenever we worked up here, it's always the incessant singing of yellowhammer, and I used to get really cross. It used to drive me around the bend. This yellowhammer just going diddly-dee all day non-stop. Just how things have changed in that time. I'd love to hear a yellowhammer again now. Very rarely hear them anymore. Right, oh, what's going on up here? This looks a bit different. Ah, right, yeah. Got an old box strainer post here. I've got some quite good lichen growing on top of it as well, actually. But that used to be fenced off with gates going across here, and then all this area was just, as I say, like a tennis court. Now it's quite overgrown with scrub encroaching as well. So clearly I've just left it to its own devices now. Of course, one of the big problems here is I came here in the early noughties on a hot day in summer in shorts, and when I got home I was covered in ticks. There was I had at least 20 on me. I was able to get them all off, thankfully, but yeah, that wasn't pleasant. So everything's tucked in today, although it's not the best weather for ticks, but I'm sure there's still plenty about. That was somewhere up here. I think it was 1993. Local college was doing a pre-uniform services course. So if you wanted to go to the police, the army, the navy or the RAF, you'd go on this course. I don't know what it entailed, but part of it you had to do a placement. I can't remember how long it was for now. You had to do a placement volunteering, And the warden at the time knew people at the college, and he agreed to take a small number who hadn't found themselves a placement. Looking back, they probably couldn't be bothered to find themselves a placement because they weren't much use, and they were a complete waste of time. They just were not interested in anything that we were doing or the wildlife. And John the warden, who's one of the most patient people I know, even he told them to go for a walk just so we didn't have to. They were holding us back. We were trying to get on with our jobs but couldn't, and we were getting nothing done very quickly. So even in the end, John told them to go for a walk so we could actually achieve something. And there was one day where I was on my own with them. I didn't know I was going to be on my own with them, and that was the same day I decided I was going to give up smoking. It did not go well, and I eventually had to leave them and go to the nearest shop and get a pouch of tobacco, or else I would have torn all their heads off. Now, if I go much further that way, I'm fairly certain the trail leads to the back road. It takes you back to a local village, and then a very long way around back to the car park. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start making my way back. I'll give it another look, see if I can find the fen area. I'll come full circle now. I'm almost back at the dike line. We're across the dike, and I'm just going to go a slightly different way just for one last attempt at finding the fen. No, I don't think this is right. I still think it's gone, but I've got to try. So obviously people don't come this way very much anymore. It's so overgrown. And there's a little post there, so that's hopeful. I don't think I came this way the first time. Now there's an old sign. That gives me hope. But it looks like it just leads to the open heath again. Wow. There is an enormous hoof fungus over there. I don't think I've ever seen one so big. It's huge. Look at the size of that. That's massive. Ooh. It's really difficult to give a scale of things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand next to this so you can actually see how big that is. That's massive. Solid as well. That is huge. Now, I'm sure this is where the fen used to be at the very least. I just don't think there's anything left of it at all. Ideally, if I can find it, just a bit of that boardwalk will just confirm I'm in the right place. But it looks like there's absolutely nothing. Oh, there's a nice little troop of something here. Now, my knowledge of fungi isn't great, but I'm hopeful I can find what this is. So I'll just quickly show you, and then I'll have a look and see if I can work out what it is. Ooh. Ooh. Well, I think I found the area that I used to call the fen, but it has been opened up considerably and I can't see any sign of the boardwalk, and all those alders are definitely gone. But that's the area there. Really got that line of trees just here. I think that's where the elders would have been growing at the back, and then the rest of it is just the fen area, just somewhat overgrown now with willow, a bit of oak, but I think this is possibly it. Yeah, I think this must have been it. I think the boardwalk's long gone by the looks. Oh, such a shame. Ooh. I think the main thing I can remember finding here is bottle sedge. The head warden was quite impressed that we'd actually found it and ID'd it. No, that wasn't down to me, that was down to my girlfriend at the time, but it was still a nice discovery, and it is a species that I'd never seen or even heard of. Yeah, I think the boardwalk's long gone by the looks. After that, it's so overgrown you're never going to find it. But it's just amazing how much it's changed in 5 years. 5 years ago, the boardwalk was still there. It was still updated, but you could still walk on it. And I actually sat on it, remembering learning how to use the plant keys, because up until that time I just couldn't get my head around how to use them, and now it's just gone. Just remains in my memories. I would like to have filmed it just so I got actual physical representation of it, but sadly that's not going to be. I just have to remain in my memory. So I'm just walking back to the car. Finish the day at this part of the reserve, have some lunch, and I've just come across these girls on the path. Hello. So I'm just walking back to the car for some lunch. I just come across this fungi down here. Now, I don't know what it is, sure, but I do have an idea. But I didn't want to uproot it before I filmed it. You can see it's quite a reddish colour, and it's not overly big, but it's the underside I'm interested in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick this. Yeah, there's a Boletus of some sort. You can see the spore surface there, and a useful indicator can be how it bruises, and you can just see here it's bruising blue or a green colour. So if I just, you can see that's quite instant. So I'd say that's probably blue. So I'll get the book out and have a look, see if I can work out. But I got a feeling it's one called a ruby bolete. But whether that's in the book or not, I don't know. So let's see if I can find it. Bolete 34, so it's at the start of the book. Here we go. That's what I think it is, ruby bolete. Small bolete of intense red colour. It discloses deep blue, which, yeah, that is. Blood red fading to reddish brown. Stipe descending is a stone descending, slightly club shaped. Yellow apex and increasingly red and longitudinally fibrous downwards. Okay, so maybe it's not that one. It's definitely related. Well, I suppose it is quite reddish at the base of the stem, but I'm going to have to do some more research on that. Well, I'm back at the car park now after a short ramble around Roydon Common extension. Didn't find too much in the way of fungi, unfortunately. A possible rose bolete. I will have to do a little bit more digging on that when I get home, and the same with those fungi that was trooping on that stump. I think they were common brittle stems, but can't be 100% certain on that. Found some nice birch barley paws and a huge hoof fungus, massive hoof fungus. And the soggy, draggled remnants of what was a parasol mushroom, which I must admit I've never seen here before. So anyway, that's the end of the video. So if you've enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you're not already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.